We have here Emily today, and Emily just completed a 4-week course, Eat Clean Get Lean. And it's my pleasure to ask her, how was it? So give me all your opinions, aha moments, everything that you would want to share with us, Emily, and maybe even a little bit about you.
Okay, well, first, my reaction to the course was that it was really invaluable for me personally, because I consider myself someone who is conscious of nutrition and knows quite a lot more than the average person. And here I stand corrected. There is a deep level that you can go into with nutrition. Um, that even after years of reading lots of books on nutrition and how to be healthy and everything, I had no idea about the deeper effects it was having on my hormones, or how stress relates in a deep way to your hormones and your blood. And I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to really take charge and control of their health and well-being, because it's not just about losing weight or fixing an individual health issue. It's more about a holistic, rounded approach to taking charge of your well-being. So from that level, I would say do it. It's really helpful.
Fantastic. And you mentioned a great word, holistic, right? Because what I always try to say to people, it's not only about nutrition, like what we eat, but also what is eating us. Because the emotions are eating us, and then the emotional overeating comes.
Uh-huh.
And in the Eat Clean Get Lean, so we actually, just to say, we have like 4 modules, and the module number 1 is, are you riding the blood glucose roller coaster? Did you, Emily, ride the
Yes,
blood
I
glucose?
was. Yes, I was. Still.
What was kind of like an aha moment, let's say in the module 1 about sugar, what you did not know at all?
Well, I was already conscious that it was in everything,
Hmm?
but because I was thinking I was making healthy choices with sugar, I didn't realize I wasn't really looking at how it affected me. I would eat and I wasn't consciously reflecting after 10 minutes, after an hour, after 3 hours, 4 hours. Oh, how did that make me feel? And
Mhm.
that consciousness shift towards looking at how foods make me feel made me aware that, hey, actually, yeah, I was reaching for snacks because I was crashing with my glucose, and the insulin was rising, and I was getting maybe the jitters, and I would say, oh, that's just coffee, that I had too many cups of coffee this morning. It's not that. It really, when you make some changes, some small little changes, you see that I have to balance my meals better. I wasn't thinking about, fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. I was just thinking about what's easy right now. And that was a big difference. I noticed that I was much more stable with my energy levels and also with my mood, which is fantastic because like everybody benefits then, not just me, my husband, my son, it's it's a big deal.
That's true. There is this like ripple effect, right? Because we don't learn the things only for us, but because when we are conscious of the things, we can prepare the meals even for the family. And then we understand, okay, my kid is going to do the sport. Today he needs maybe more protein, or my daughter is going to menstruate. She maybe needs more this, and that. So that's what we learn in the course as well. Okay, then we had module 2, which is about hormones. Do you have misfiring hormones?
Yes, I do. It was so relevant. I can't stress how the information is just relevant to just normal people. You don't have to have some really complex HRT thing going on. You can just be a normal person, maybe in like I'm in my 40s, I'm in my mid 40s, and for me my hormones are now a question, and I was finding that that particular week for me was golden. I really needed that information. In fact, I want to review it and really sort of try and absorb it, because all the interdependencies and the feedback loops that your body gets into, it's like you need to know this stuff so that you can really help yourself. I mean, I've been to the gynecologist and she says, oh, okay, if you're low in progesterone, then maybe we'll put you on the pill, but it's not really recommended for your age bracket, but we'll do it and try it. And it worked for a little while, but for a little while, and then back come the migraines and back comes the brain fog, and you're like, well, there must be a better way. It's like, and then you realize with making these changes, obviously it's not just this 4-week module I've done with you, but it's like, yeah, menstruation has returned, and it was gone for like the longest time. I thought I had hit menopause and it was over. It's been that long, and it came back. And we're talking years, we're not talking months. And it came back, and it was completely painless and normal. And I just was astounded. I had written that part of my life off, and here it has returned. And with it, my skin has changed. It's better. It's smoother. The lines are sort of clearing out. I used to get in some of this really deep lines here, and I know that's something for a lot of women. Like when you in summer, you're like, oh, I don't want that kind of wrinkle neck thing. Mm-hmm. It's smoothed out, and I was like, wow.
I mean, yeah, your story, I mean, like this is totally like really wow. So one thing I have to say, that you like really followed the plan, right? You really watch the videos, you really like take supplements, you do everything that I tell you. And just reveal to people for how long you didn't have menstruation.
It was so long I actually forgot when I had it. I thought it had been, even because I had a late pregnancy and I was 41 when I gave birth to my son, and there were a couple of years where I had no period at all, and then it kind of came back a little bit, and it was very irregular. I had always been highly regular, and then it became just erratic, and unlike before, it became extremely painful. I had all those blood clots, and it was a nasty, heavy kind of menstruation, and the kind of one that women every month are kind of going, don't want to go there. And then it stopped. So then there was it was about 2 years where there was no period at all. And I wasn't on a pill that was blocking my period or anything like that. I wasn't on hormonal treatments. It just stopped. So my gynecologist and I thought, it's menopause. That's it. Done. Yeah. Because it was over 12 months. It was nearly 2 years. And but it had been so bad and so erratic that I had thought it was even longer than that. It felt like longer. So to then get a normal period instantly, just go from nothing to normal period, painless, like nice flow, moderate flow, nothing crazy, no cramping and crazy. I was shocked. I was like,
yeah. I mean, that's almost like, you know, this is what everybody wants, because we have some women and they say, oh, I don't want to have menstruation, but they just don't understand, which they would learn in a module 2, that menstruation is crucial for the women, having a right balance of estrogen and progesterone.
Yeah.
And if you have regular period and you can have menstruation until 52, 55, who knows, maybe even 60, because Emily, I'm about to reveal the hormone yoga therapy, which I believe would be really, really great for you. And then I believe we can all menstruate without ease until 55, 60 easily. Okay, so this was really good for you as well. So that was module number 2. Now let's go to module number 3, which was about digestion, right? So it's beat the bloat and constipation. So what would you say about this module?
I liked the module, and it hasn't raised as many issues for me personally, because I have made already some changes, and I'm vegetarian, so I tend to naturally eat a lot of fiber. And I've certainly, over the last, 8 months working with you, I've certainly drastically reduced the amount of processed foods I was sort of eating without even really realizing it. So I'm eating a lot of fiber. So it's not been as much of an issue for me personally, constipation or bloating, but I was very glad that I now have these tools that I can use to see if like my transit times are what they should be, because that's also important for, as we now know, for absorption for your body. So it's not, if you do suffer from bloating or constipation, diarrhea, the roller coaster of that, you need to know this stuff. It's so simple, the little changes you can make. And you've given us tools for like elimination diets if we have a really serious issue that we need to try and resolve, or just that general like, are you regular? Are you not regular? You can really understand what's happening in your body. And I appreciate that, because I think there will be times, there are always times when we don't quite eat the way we'd like to, go on holidays or whatever, or too many parties around the Christmas period where that can get disrupted, and it's easy to disrupt. It's amazing how quickly the body reacts to what you eat. If you eat badly, then your body will suffer immediately. Within 24 hours, your gut flora are suffering. But on the flip side of that, when you eat well and healthy and clean, the bacteria are very quickly affected by that as well. And I'm like, I really like to know that I can help myself very quickly to get back on track.
And you know what I actually love in the module 3 is the power of microbiota, how microbiota, actually this good bacteria, how they produce this butyrate, the energy, right, that is then feeding the body. And also that 75% of the serotonin, the happy hormone, is actually produced in the gut by enterocytes. That's kind of, even for me, every time when I watch the module, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's like,
I need
that's
to go
why
back and watch it again.
gut brain axis, you know. So I'm always like, okay, I really have to start with the gut, the second brain, so that I have a good mood, right? Because the anxiety, depression, it's on the rise, the mental health. So that's why we cover it in this module as well.
Yeah, that was definitely, it's nice to know how, well, I think that was also like week 4, wasn't it? Because that was also like,
they are kind of all interconnected. That's true. Week 4, tell me about week 4, which was about
stress and your mood and how to elevate yourself. And I realized for years I've been eating when I was under stress, and I'm sure that led to most of my problems, you know. And I was like, so now even just choosing not to eat if I feel stressed, I will wait, I will do something to calm myself down or relax, or like use the techniques that you gave us, and know that it's not a good time. If I am really feeling stressed, just don't eat, wait, de-stress, then eat. And that also, I'm sure, is helping, because for the first time in, I think it's since, well, it was definitely pre-COVID, I managed to lose 7 kilos. My scales have dropped below 60 kilos, and I was nearly back to my pregnancy weight of when I gave birth. I was nearly back there. So that's a lot of extra weight, because I'm a small frame of only 155 centimeters. And that was, for me, like 7 kilos for a tall woman might not be much, but for me, it was an enormous amount of extra weight. And I dropped that without having to do crazy exercise, without fasting or counting calories or skipping meals. I didn't have to try and focus on it. It just happened from these changes, lifestyle changes. So
I mean, I'm going to cut that, because like 7 kilos, that's enormous amount of time, right? Without starvation.
No starvation.
Just following the rules that you have learned in Eat Clean, Get Lean, and just eating. And would you say that now you actually eat more? Because I make people eat more, right? Not less, more. Do you eat more?
I eat more of the good stuff. I think overall, I'm probably not eating necessarily more, but I was a big eater. I love my food. This is why all of these, like counting calories and restrictions and things, it's never ever worked for me my whole life, because I love to eat. It's like one of my favorite things. So I don't necessarily eat more, but I certainly eat more of the stuff I know I can freely eat, and less of the stuff I know I should be careful with. I eat more protein and I eat more vegetables, but I'm definitely reducing the amount of like complex carbs that I'm eating, or refined carbs. So if I'm having rice, I would maybe have put more in my bowl before. Now I'm like, just be a little conservative with that. You can have more after. If you really want to, you can go back. I don't have to clean my plate like I was brought up. I'm like, okay, I'll just put some rice there, the healthy amount, and then I'll fill up the rest of my plate with all the good stuff that's unlimited and free, and you can have it, and it doesn't hurt. And then I will still feel full, and I don't have to feel like I've restricted or missed out, or, you know, I hate that feeling of scarcity, you know.
Scarcity, I hate scarcity as well, yes. And what would you say about the amount of like brainstorming ideas of like recipes and like websites and cookbooks, functional medicine cookbook? How did you find this? Did you find plenty of inspiration?
Oh yeah, yes, like
Yeah.
you cater for everybody from normal sort of meat eating to vegetarians to vegans. There is a big wide range of products and foods that you've shown us how to cook them too, because that's a big thing for people when they make a change. Like, well, you know, I see these crazy whole grain things, but what do I do with that? It's not like pasta, right? So you have to learn how to get comfortable.
Did you find that it's like time consuming to prepare all this food, or do I give you like a 5-minute tricks on how you can like plate the dish, how to combine the food really in 5 to maximum 10 minutes?
It was super fast. It actually made me think, wish I was eating meat again, because you can really have some really quick, healthy, easy meals that way. But I've been vegetarian too long. I don't want to go that far, but I really thought that they were fast. And for me, that is really something. Like, I still also do these slow cooking meals with lentils and, you know, and beans, where you have to soak overnight and all of that. But I also love that you show about like batch preparation. I mean, this really simplifies things for people with a busy schedule. If you're a mom or working, and, you know, you don't really want to be spending an hour every night preparing a meal. So, I mean, there's lots in there. There is something for everybody. You will find meals, and you don't have to have like 20 meals. You know, let's be realistic. We're all really eating. If it's a healthy, colorful meal, then you can just have like 7 dishes and just every night change it, and then it's repeat the next week. So wash and repeat. It's like, this is really helpful.
Yeah, but we also do it seasonal, right? Because, you know, I show the pictures of what I buy in a market. I show even the crowd farming, like where to buy it, how, like, yeah, I really try to make it so practical. But one thing is that people sometimes look at the price and they say, oh, it's expensive. I can get these videos for free on YouTube. So what would you tell them?
I'd say I've watched loads of free videos, and yeah, I thought I knew it all. I was like, hey, I've been watching like all these healthy how-to videos for 10 years, and it's not the same. It's a more personal experience, especially if you do like an individual. I really highly recommend your individual sessions. I think the courses are amazing. They help along the way, but ultimately, if you want to get serious or you have a serious problem, you need an individual consultation with you, and to get blood work done, and then have that feedback about, okay, how can we fix this? This is showing, and you explain it all. You explain, if this blood marker shows this, then this means that this is the consequence in the body, and this is because of this behavior you have, or the choices you're making here with food. And that you don't get from free YouTube videos. You can't get that from going to your doctor either. I mean, I tried that as well before. I mean, I was getting mouth ulcers, I was getting migraines, I had fatigue. I was feeling like I couldn't even function in my role as a wife and a mother anymore. I felt like it was just straining me to the point of breaking. And I was like, so I'll be one of these women having, you know, a breakdown soon, and they'll just say, oh, you've got burnout, oh well, take some rest, you know. And it's like, who gets to actually take rest? What am I going to do, like go off for a couple of months to one of these hotels and just lie around and get well? I mean, you have to find a way to make your normal day-to-day life work in a healthy way that can support you. So I don't think, I mean, go for it. If you think that YouTube videos are enough, and it's working for you, great. But for me, it wasn't enough. And there was volumes of information that I didn't have. And you shifted my focus onto really important aspects, like where do I get my protein as a vegetarian? Like, am I getting enough protein? Which I wasn't. And, you know, I thought I was being really healthy. I eat low fat. I was eating too low fat. Who knew that you can have too low cholesterol? I didn't even think that was an issue. I didn't show me the YouTube videos where they're like, your cholesterol is too low. You know, I didn't see any of those.
Yeah.
So
You're
personally,
absolutely right. And even, for example, with the cholesterol, people don't know that we need the cholesterol to build the steroid hormones, so the sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and nobody really connects this together, huh?
no, I've never heard anybody say it. I've heard people ask, where do you get your protein from? Are you getting enough protein? I've never heard anybody really talking about low cholesterol.
Mm-hmm.
So all I can say is if you have serious issues or you have a problem that's persistent, like weight you can't shift or hormonal fluctuations or things that people are telling you, well, you're getting old, you just have to accept that. It's not necessarily true. Please, if you value your health and well-being, go get professional guidance from someone who's qualified and who knows. And I felt that you were super qualified. You're very knowledgeable. You know, you always have an answer for the questions, and you can explain it in a way that I understand, having not got like a science degree behind me in nutrition and body chemistry and stuff like this. So for that, I was extremely grateful because I realized how important it is, and I actually understand it.
Yeah,
So
because for example, even with iron, very often the doctor says to people, like to women, hey, you are low in iron, but what they measure is only ferritin. And people have no idea what is transferrin saturation, what is free iron, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we have in these courses as well, because it's about educate, entertain, and then encourage people to make the change, believing that the change is possible. And you are, Emily, an absolute example of a woman that is like dedicated to the child, is really busy, and let's say it's not a millionaire to invest into everything, but you still value to your health so much that you invested into it. And as you say now, you think it was worth it. That's just like really important for me.
It was worth it. It really was worth it. And yes, supplements aren't cheap. Good supplements aren't cheap. And I'd be honestly cautious of supplements that really were cheap. I mean, like you say, ultimately you want to get to the point where you're getting everything from your food. But if you are deficient, then you need to, you really need to boost that as quickly as you can in a healthy manner. So this is where supplements are amazing. This is where they really have helped me personally, because I wouldn't have thought to go out and spend maybe 100 euros on supplements a month for 6 months. But that, when you think about it, how many trips to the doctor before you're paying for this, or how long would you feel bad? That's only in Basel, for instance. That's not even 4 meals that you buy out. So keeping it in perspective, supplements aren't that expensive. If you're eating out or doing something, or you can find that money. Most normal income levels can find the money for the supplements that will help them and get them over it. Because now I am going to retest eventually, probably early next year, and see what my blood has done over the last 12 months. And I expect to see changes because I can feel the changes. So I expect my blood to show me the changes. And maybe I don't need to take as many supplements then, but I felt that it was an investment in me. So I would say that the supplements you personally recommended to me, looking at my blood results and everything, have been absolutely worth the money. And I think they've played a pivotal role in me regaining my health and vitality. So,
and I actually can't wait to see your results, right? So you will prepare for it in a way that you know how to do it. You will go in a specific time of your period to get it, and then we will compare them together. Because what I do, just like let's share with the people, I record every session. So basically it stays with you. And even if in 2 or 3 years time, you want to see, okay, now I have new blood test results. Let's say what Blanca was telling about it. You can listen to the video, you can look at the papers, and every single item you understand, right? So even if I tell you now, for example, cortisol, you know what is cortisol, right?
Yeah.
And you know what should be
Too
the
much.
level in the morning, right? It's amazing understanding the biochemistry, the biochemical markers in a very simple way, and how it works and how they all interfere or support each other. It's mind-blowing. It's one of the parts that I love, interpreting the blood test results. Yeah.
And it's just, you think that because modern living has such high levels of stress with it, that that's normal, and somehow, well, it's not comfortable, but whatever, that's how life is. But I didn't know that it was stealing the building blocks for making progesterone and the hormones that, hey, I actually really need as well. So I thought, well, you just have to deal with stress, and there'll be a time in life when it won't be so stressful and everything. But that's not, it's actually, it's a false economy, because you can't afford to let the stress rule your life, because you will suffer in other ways. It's not just dealing with stress, it's the way it's chemically affecting your body and the long-term damage it's doing. And that I didn't know, that you taught me, and I'm really grateful for that, because I take stress more seriously now. I take it as something that it's not okay to be stressed. It doesn't show that you're a super achiever. It's not a marker of how hardworking you are. You really need to reduce the stress in your life. So now I take it really seriously. Do not let myself get stressed.
Yeah. And we actually, even in the module, we talk about people, when we talk about stress, they only imagine the psychological stress, but they don't know that we have also chemical and mechanical stress. So in those videos, I talk about these ones with our hidden inflammation, how we can know it and what we can do about it. Yeah. So that's important. And also from, let's say, a spiritual point of view, why do I care? Why do I want to be fit? Do I want to be a role model for my children, right? Do I want to live a double amount of where I am? So let's say if we are 45, where will you be at 80, 90 with this longevity that is now extending? How can you take care of the temple, the body, the only machine that is working for you, right? So it's not only the basic when people think, okay, pizza or wine doesn't hurt me, but knowing what happens in the body, knowing the consequence, and it's the seeding, right? So seeding actions, the tiny steps that we take every single day that build into the major picture.
That just made me think of one other thing that I could say to help people with their decision-making process, is that it's not an extreme all or nothing thing. That's not how it's been for me. I have had parties, I have had holidays, I have had wine and beer and pizza, but it's the consistency in just your day-to-day choices. Like, I don't deprive myself of anything. I don't say you may not have that. I have it when occasionally when it comes in and it's like, this is the moment, and I have it, and then the next day I don't have it again. This is the thing. And it hasn't felt like a burden to not have those things or feel like, oh, I mustn't ever have it. I'm not depriving, I'm not in a sense or mindset of deprivation. So that is great. That really does work, because it's just your consistency there, and it doesn't have to be perfect consistency. It just has to be overall consistent. I don't know, I'm going to guess like maybe 90%, 80 to 90% consistency will get you there. And that is amazing, because I had a bit of the perfectionist mindset of, all or nothing, perfect, it's either perfect or it's broken kind of thing. And this is clearly wasn't serving me, because it would give me excuses and, well, I blew it, I'll just have whatever I want now, until I felt motivated again. So
yeah, that's really nice, because we have actually this 80-20 rule in every course, every private session, right? We never say you cannot have wine, but I give the tips and tricks of what you need to eat before, or what you have to do around the alcohol, so that it doesn't get absorbed and stuff like this, that you can detoxify, right? Actually, in a module 4, which is about detoxification, we also talk about the toxins, like hidden toxins. Are there any hidden toxins that you didn't think about?
Oh, yeah. They're well, as you know, we tested me for a lot of toxins, because I came from an engineering background where I was exposed to some pretty serious aviation toxins and stuff. So I was curious what was in me. And renovating houses and just the normal stuff as well, obviously. But what you did reinforce to me was the choices about, eating a food locally grown, which of course we're like, oh yes, that sounds lovely and bucolic, and what a wonderful thing to go to a farm and buy food fresh. But it's important that you are sourcing things that haven't been sprayed or preserving their shelf life for a long quantity, like the strawberries coming from Africa that should be already perished, and but they're still looking rosy and red there and plump. Like something has happened to them, because that's not normal for the strawberries. So you have to think in terms of being more conscious about, there are toxins on your food, you need to wash them off, and you need to make choices about food that is going to be healthier for your body, because there will be a toxic load. And we are exposed to air pollution, we're exposed to all these, I guess, electronic pollution and noise, and it's all creating inflammation and stress in the body. And if we can consciously choose to lower it, that's an overall plus, right? So I was just amazed at, I hadn't considered all of these vectors or ways of toxins to get into me, like the normal ones, don't go eating that thing that's been sprayed 1 billion times with a pesticide or something. Yeah, I kind of figured that's not good. Or certainly wash it first and wash it well, But, you hear about fish and microplastics and mercury and arsenic in rice, and you're like, just get, whoa, I'm so overwhelmed. What should I eat? And this is where you step in and you say, okay, this is what you should be eating. This is what is safe to eat. And that is helpful when you give us the list with everything that we can eat, and even where to go and buy it. And if you're really overwhelmed, you'll do one of those trips where you take someone shopping and you say, here, it's not so hard, just like, these are the labels that you can recognize, and this, look in your trolley, this is what you can buy, it's safe, go forth, eat that.
That's true, because we actually went even shopping together, right? So we went shopping together, and I told you, you eat this, and that, and that's how we combine it. And you come home with food, and you know exactly where it is. So basically, in 1 hour, you do all the shopping, and that's what you repeat then forever, right? And I know this is good for me. Yeah.
And if you don't think it's helpful, you just go into a foreign supermarket and you try and buy healthy food there, and you can't read the labels, and you're like, wow, shopping is really, we do it not necessarily by like looking at it all the time, but just by, that's the product I buy. You just recognize it, and then it's easy and it's quick, and you don't have to waste a lot of time on it. So invest a little time in the beginning, and it pays.
Yeah, that's true. Because even with oils, I very often see the confusion. People say, and I'm frying with olive oil, and I'm using, I don't know, hemp seed or this seed. And I'm always like, no. This is what you need. These 3 you need at home, right? And it's even in the shopping list that people can download on the website for free and get the videos. So I also provide free content. But yeah, as you say, investment into personalized nutrition is priceless. Yeah,
that has been priceless.
When people usually say, I don't have time, I don't have money, what they are saying is, I don't value my health, or I don't value Blanca's knowledge. Yeah. So there is either one or the other.
I think it's easy to, these are the intangibles, isn't it? Health is intangible until you're in the hospital and you have a serious condition and you're needing surgery, and or your life has become unbearably difficult with the discomfort. It's like, it's hard to keep it in perspective, but ultimately, your health is the only thing you have that's paramount, and the only thing you actually have pretty much total control over. Like, you can make a lot of choices for your own health, and this is, I think you also empower people to take more responsibility, more conscious responsibility for their health and well-being, and it shows in the body. Like, seriously, I don't know, maybe in a few months I give you some before and after photos, because they are, I'm sure, going to be quite mind-blowing, because it's like,
I'm looking forward to that. Okay, Emily, that was so much fun with you in the course and in private sessions, and thank you for taking time to sharing basically all this information about you, because I fully understand it's private. Nobody wants to talk about like where they were and what they had to do, and you did it, helping other women to get back into the driver's seat and make the move to the power that they have within themselves.
Yeah, it's I also come from a place where I think women need to share more. There's been a lot of, my mother didn't tell me a lot of things growing up, or even about pregnancy and childbirth and this kind of thing. I think we need as a society to like be a little bit more transparent, more open um, about our lives and share those women, those female experiences, so that we're more informed, and then you're empowered. And this is really important. As a feminist, I believe super important.
Yeah, so we really make the impact. We are helping women with all the knowledge that we have and passing it on. I hope that you are passing it even to your friends.
I am.
That's good. That's perfect.
Like, go see Blanca. It's really going to be worth your while.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I need, so that I can have the impact as well on as many women as possible. So thank you for this amazing review for all the women, and keep us updated.
I shall do. Okay, thank you too.
Thank you.